This is the most excited I've been ever to film a video because this is one of those videos that I've always wanted to film. I'm Shreya, welcome back to my channel Peachish. So today I'm going to talk you through all the books that I think are worth the hype on Bookstagram and Booktok, and some decent books that are at least worth reading once. Something you should know about me is that I'm a very picky reader, but sometimes I also read according to my mood. So if I'm in the mood for something cheesy, romantic, I might also give a very cringy and cheesy book a 5-star. Don't judge me on that. I'm planning to do more such book videos on this channel, so gradually you'll get to know my taste and my recommendations better. In today's video, not all of these books will be full 5 stars, but I have made a list of books that I have rated from 3.75 to 5 stars. 3.75 being the lowest, obviously, and 5 stars being the highest. 3.75 for me is like a decent read, a good one-time read. Glad I read it, sort of like that. And a 5-star read is when a book makes me go gaga over it and I have to tell my friends about it, I have to tell my sister about it, I have to make them read it, I have to give them the book. I enjoy the characters, I enjoy everything in that book, and it makes me cry, it makes me happy when the characters are happy. Somewhat like that. I feel their emotions through the books. The writing is perfect. For me, that is a 5-star. So these are the books. I don't have some books on the list physically because I read them online. So I'm just going to attach a picture when I'm talking about those books. So the very first book from the list is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. And this was my first Christina Lauren read, and I have to say it won't be my last, because I loved her writing in this book. And I read this book last year and I remember each and every detail in this book, which is, I'll be honest, quite rare for me. So you can obviously tell this was a 5-star read last year, and this book will literally transport you to Hawaii because the vibes are tropical, beachy, a very good summer read, I would say. Olive and Ethan, who are the main characters in this book, are kind of like nemesis. The story starts at Olive's twins' wedding. So everyone gets food poisoned and Ethan and Olive are the only one who don't. And there is an all-paid honeymoon up for grabs. So Ethan and Olive decide to kind of call it a truce and put all their problems aside just to enjoy this vacation that they have. I love the banter between Olive and Ethan. The characters have such good chemistry because I remember one particular scene that I guess they end up going to a bar or a taco place or something, and their chats are like so good. They have such natural chemistry. It was almost like it was a real couple for some time, and I was like, oh damn, they have like such good natural chemistry. The tropes in this book, that is fake dating and I guess enemies to lovers, are done so well, and I'm guessing you guys will really like this. I came across the next book because of Goodreads, especially because of the number of reviews on the book. So many people are reading this. I need to read this for sure. And it is the first book from the Addicted to You series. The main characters in this book, Lily Calloway and Lauren Hale, are both from rich families. They are childhood best friends. They both have secrets that they are ashamed of and they don't want to be confronted. So they get into this fake relationship which works perfectly for both of them, and on the outside they're this perfect couple. It kind of has the Gossip Girl vibes because of the rich and affluent events they attend and the setting in the book. Lily is actually a sex addict and Lauren is an alcoholic, so they kind of try to hide these secrets from their family because obviously they don't want to be confronted for it. And I have to say the plot in this book wasn't that, but it is kind of like a character based book or like a character driven book, I would say, because the entire thing is based off their character development. I would say this is kind of a dark book, but not really. and trigger warnings for people who have addiction to alcohol or sex, because this is very real. Like, the writer makes sure you know their every emotion and mental state. They're kind of toxic together, I'm not going to lie, but I feel they work perfectly well for each other. I'm kind of really rooting for them because I have read only the first part, and there's like 10 more parts to this series and 5 more if you add the Calloway Sisters series. Obviously, not all books are about them, and all the characters of the series are introduced in the first book itself, which is kind of nice because you get to know them more. I'm actually hooked to the storyline because I really do want to read about all the characters from this series. All the characters seem interesting, and I'm so happy that they were introduced in the first book itself. That is kind of rare, you know, when the series goes on for so long, you never get to see all the characters from the beginning. So I'm kind of happy with that, and definitely going to read all the books in this series. Each one has a different kind of story, but yeah, I'm going to take my time. The next book we have is The Spanish Love Deception, one of the classics, one of the OGs, I would say, of Booktok, Bookstagram. Initially, I had rated this book a 5 stars, but I am actually a little embarrassed because I've read way better books than this after this. I'll tell you what the situation was.
Because I was in this, I want to hustle, I want to make money, I want to be smart, I want to read only non-fictional books era.
So this was my first rom-com book, or, you know, romantic book after a really dry. If I was asked to rate this now, I would give it a 3.75 at the max. Don't get me wrong, this book is also a really good one-time read. If you're a beginner and you want to get into books, and especially the smut books, I would say this is a really good start. It is quite lengthy, 473 pages, but I guess it'll do. You'll have a really nice idea of what smut books or even romance novels are like. Catalina, the main female character in this book, has to attend her sister's wedding in Spain, to which she has to take a date because there's also this ex of hers over there, and she obviously does not want to feel like the loser girl who no one wants to date or something like that, and she has found no one so far. And that is when Aaron Blackford, her supposed enemy, kind of offers to go with her to Spain for her sister's wedding in return for a small favor. She wasn't exactly thrilled when he offered help, but she did not have an option either because she has already lied to her family that she has a boyfriend and she's in love. So they end up going to Spain for the sister's wedding, and one thing leads to another over there. Instantly, their views for each other change, their feelings for each other change. There's a lot of forced proximity scenes because the funniest thing, Aaron Blackford, the main guy in this, kind of is too tall, 6'4" apparently, so he breaks the bed. I don't know, is that how Spanish beds work? I'm not sure, but he breaks the bed, and they need to share the same bed in the apartment that they have rented. Next up is the very famous Dreamland Billionaire series, a 3-part series which is one of my favorite series of all time, I would say. The Dreamland brand or company is kind of like Disney, I would say. It has amusement parks, they are into movies and stuff like that. And the 3 Kane brothers, the next generation, are supposed to inherit this company, and their late grandfather has left a task for each one, and they need to complete this task in order to inherit this company. First book in the series is The Fine Print, and it is based on the youngest brother, Rowan Kane, and his love interest, Zara. Zara is an employee who works for Rowan at the Dreamland. It is a grumpy sunshine workplace romance, and the chemistry is too good. I could literally read 1,000 pages about them and not be bored because it was that good, and also very spicy. I would say this is one of the best or the best grumpy sunshine trope book I've ever read. Obviously, this was a 5-star read, and you will thank me for recommending this book to y'all. I assure you it's really that good. Book in the series, my favorite book so far is The Terms and Condition. We have the love story of Declan, the oldest brother, and his assistant Iris, who has been working for him like forever. When the lady who he had originally planned to marry, as in got an agreement with her to marry him just for the sake of it, does not turn up, Iris steps up and they both get married. which takes fake dating to a whole new level. That is, I guess, fake marriage. I'm not sure if that's a new trope now. In all honesty, this book was a real bliss because the story in this book, the love story, is so good. The character development of Declan in this book is like crazy because oh my god, in the end when he proposes to her, there's this scene you guys will know, and it is so heartwarming. I was crying, like I was literally crying, and this book made me feel like that. So obviously it's a 5 stars, no doubt about it. The sweet gestures he does for her. One thing I loved about this book is that Lauren Asher didn't make the character do something very over the top and flashy. It was just pure, simple romance, which I really loved. It was so refreshing. My god, they are such a beautiful couple. It almost feels like I've read a genuine love story, and I hope it is someone's because what a beautiful love to experience. Really beautiful. You have to read this. The next book from the list is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. She writes a lot about women in STEM and academia, which is great. I love her writing style. It is very unique and distinct, I would say. I enjoy reading a lot of her books. All the books that I've read from her so far have been really good, and this was a 5-star read for sure. I love the characters, especially the guy in this, Adam. I guess I've talked a little bit about this in my very first video, the vlog. This is definitely one of the OG Booktok books which got viral, and it's definitely worth the hype. The dynamic between Olive and Adam in this book is really great. I enjoyed their chemistry a lot. I'm pretty sure I binge read this book and I stayed up way past midnight to read this book and complete it. Sort of fell asleep and then woke up, literally didn't do anything, just opened the book and read it and finished it off. It was that good for me. I don't remember a lot about this book because I read this in the beginning of last year maybe. I have read a lot of Ali Hazelwood books after, so maybe that's something to note down because her writing is really good, and I guess you guys will like it. The next series that I would recommend to y'all is the Twisted series by one of my favorite authors, Anna Wong. Anna's books are what I actually consider 5 stars in romance genre for me because her writing, the plot, the storyline, the romance, the spice, the book boyfriends just hits at the right spot for me, and that was a little mad. Okay, the Twisted series follows a story about 4 girl best friends who attend the same college, and might I add, they are literally friendship goals. I wish I had friends like those, but I'm pretty sure they are fictional too. I've read 3 out of 4 books in this series, and all the 3 were 5 stars because they were so good, and I just love this series. If you had to choose one thing to get from, you know, the entire list, I would say it's the Twisted series. You can read them individually as well. I would recommend reading these series in the order, even though I didn't do that. One thing I forgot to mention is that I'm going to add all the links in the description for y'all. So make sure y'all check that out if you want to buy any of these books. Twisted Love, the first book in the series, is about Ava and her love interest Alex Volkov, who is her brother's best friend and also very icy, grumpy, and rich, I'm guessing. Yeah, he is a billionaire if I'm not wrong. He is a really bad person, I would say. Alex Volkov falls into the I'll burn the world down for you kind of book boyfriend, and yeah, it's kind of scary to read about him but interesting at the same time because a person who is that grumpy and angry, I would say, he has a lot of anger in him, and it is kind of, you know, interesting for us as readers to read about him and how he falls in love, and the things, honestly, the things that he does for her in love is crazy and very beautiful at the same time. So I really enjoyed reading this book. The second book in the series is The Twisted Games, one of my favorites of all times, I kid you not. It is about one of Ava's best friend, Bridget, who is a princess, and her love interest, who is her bodyguard. So it is this forbidden love, and I have to say, like, forbidden love is kind of not the trope that I read a lot, but I enjoy this, and it is written so well because the scenes in this are spicy, and
I would just say it is There's one particular scene that if you read in this book, you will go crazy because, oh my god, it is hot.
It is very cute as well. Not just the spice, but the things that they do to stay in each other's life is pretty cute and also extreme, because she is a princess. She is to be married to a prince or someone of high position maybe, and he is not exactly in that category, but the command he has over her, just read this, it's really good. The last book that I read in the series is Twisted Lies, and I have to say it is again one of my favorites of all times. So if I had to honestly rank the Twisted books, I would say Twisted Lies, Twisted Games, and then Twisted Love. Twisted Hate at the bottom because I haven't read it so far. Yeah, that's the order so far. So again, coming back to Twisted Lies, which is the last part, I don't know if I should say this, but I kind of prefer morally grey men
In books. And yeah, just in books.
Christian Harper, the owner of Harper Security Systems, I'm guessing the name of his company is, he is a millionaire who actually owns apartments as well, and he rents an apartment to Stella, who is a social media influencer and also one of the best friends, and that's how they know each other, by the way. Though they live in the same apartment for a long time, it takes quite some time for them to like interact, but Harper has, oh, I'm not going to give you the spoiler, so maybe you should read it. This is the kind of romance that is a little bit over the top, like
He spoils her with the gifts and takes her here, takes her there.
and it's a really good book to get out of a reading slump as well. So I really enjoyed this book, and you know for sure by the way I'm describing this book, I'm pretty sure you all know this was an overnight read. I'm actually going to get the physical copy now. The last book on the list is The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. It is the best enemies to lovers romance because it is so good. You actually know at the beginning that they hate each other because there is a motive for them to hate each other. They are co-workers, they are competing for the same position in the office. So it makes sense, obviously, right? Also, there's a movie on this book, but I didn't like it. Lucy Hale did a really good job, but the actor, I don't know his name, but the actor didn't match the description of Joshua for me. He was kind of plain, you know? But Joshua in the book is like really good. I felt like it was very relatable. It was fun, light-hearted, and also very romantic at the same time. Like a lot of good scenes are not there in the movie. Don't be lazy and just watch the movie. For sure, you need to read this book because it is really good. With that said, the list ends here. I hope you liked the list. I'm sorry if this has been only romance novels because, you know,
I'm a sucker for love.
was that the song? Okay, no. But I'm trying to go into the other genres as well. Sure, you are subscribed to this channel. Stay tuned for more content.